we don't have the second Paladin one.
True. Yeah, Lady Liadrin is not in the game as well, although she would be a pretty cool hero to have.
Yeah, but we have Magni in the form of a skin. We have Lunara, the newest one. We have, of course, Tyrande.
Correct. Yeah, I think we've got them all.
Morgul, that's the one. Shaman Morgul. Shaman Morgul, sorry.
Shaman.
Yeah, I still don't know which is correct.
I'm always getting confused. Like, what is the British way of pronouncing it? What is the American way? Or is there British people mixing it up as well?
We don't no Paladin before Tyrion. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know which one is the correct pronunciation. I'm assuming we're just going to get... Yeah, send it to us in spelt ways as opposed to phonetic. That will solve the problem. We see Medivh and Garrosh getting banned out. Shaman, not Shaman. Okay.
Yeah, I remember, like, when I was a kid, there was a TV show called Shaman King. It's like an anime show. And little monsters here and there, you know. Yeah. And in the intro song... they were always referring to it as Shaman King. So ever since then, I basically got used to the expression shaman. But we still see a little bit of shaman here and there. The thing as a German, it's so weird because...
I might be getting confused because Charmin is also like a toilet paper brand in the UK. So
yeah, exactly. I'm getting confused by shaman because it sounds almost identical to the German word shaman, which means shame on you, right?
Okay.
Shame on you, shaman. You should be ashamed.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. Oh man, what about just a shaman who was just really embarrassed all the time and just called it a shaman?
The shaman.
I am the shaman, and I'm very upset about it. The Grey Mage picked up as first pick. As second pick. Hanzo as first pick for the one.
All right, so the one pretty much dominating game number one, no pun intended, and they're trying to repeat that success in game number two against So, of course, which is not really a straight-up rival, but still a team that they want to beat so that they will be able to keep up track of SPT. And keep in mind, guys, there's a pretty okay chance that SPT may fall down to CE later during the broadcast. So if the one were to win this, and SPT were to lose 2-0 against CE, then all of a sudden, this race or for second place could be a close one.
They would be tied. They would be exactly tied on points, and that would bring it down to the last week, where it's pretty safe to say the one has a significantly easier match than SPT does. The one would be against KT, SPT against BTG.
Yeah, and to be honest, like right now, Beyond the Game looks like one of the top three teams, in my opinion. In my opinion, if they are playing well and bring their A game, they could take down either the one or SPT, maybe even CE at any given day.
Yes, I'm reminding that there is also Kapgar in as a paid hero.
Very true.
Yeah. So there we go. Cool. So we have a Stukov and a Malthael being picked up here. Malthael, before a Sonya or anything like that is even considered here. Very cool to see. Just a good focus by the one, which is fair, because Hugo's kind of a god on the hero, so I have no argument with this.
He's pretty good on the Malthael, I would agree. What strikes me every single time I see Hugo on the Malthael is his ability to pop the Touch of Death to get the most value out of those fights, to basically make sure that the anti-healing is going to cripple the enemy team's support, the enemy team's self-healing capabilities very well. He's done it multiple times now on enemy Regars when the Ancestor Healing was about to go through. He's done it against enemy Malfurions as well to deny the Tranquility. It's just so good to see him playing that hero, and I'm pretty sure that a couple of players out there who are watching this, ourselves included here on the casting desk, can learn a thing or two when playing that hero, or watching Hugo play the hero.
Exactly. And here is actually something very reasonable. Some might be wondering, why are they banning Sonya? They already have Malthael. Malthael does very well against Sonya. For starters, Sonya's still just a very strong hero. For second, and most importantly, if you ban out the second best solo laner, which it looks like they might be considering not doing, they do ban out Tyrion instead. The argument was, if you ban out the second solo laner, in terms of the second best, Malthael doesn't have to go for just the solo laning build. He can actually just play a little bit more comfortably. So he can go for that touch of death as opposed to that die alone.
And now, of course, with the removal of his fellow angel brethren, Tyrael, he doesn't have to worry about Sanctification, and he's most likely going to go for Tormented Souls. I don't think the Sanctification is a decent tool to stop a Last Rites, because it's so hard to get to the target in time. And yeah, so basically making sure that Malthael gets free reign in those team fights with strong AoE damage control seems to be the key here. And of course, with Malfurion already being taken, a hero like Lucio, who used to be one of the go-to counters, won't even be deployed in the first place. Now, you could argue, Kendrick, Tranquility is pretty good against the AoE damage from Tranquility, from the Tormented Souls as well. But guess what? We already mentioned the Touch of Death. Reducing the healing done by Tranquility by 50% seems like a good deal.
ETC and Junkrat coming in. You gotta get that disruption onto Malthael, otherwise he is just gonna pick up those kills and he is gonna get all those stacks, etc. So you gotta get that disruption, face melt, the concussion mine, keep him out of the fight for as long as possible.
Now I'm looking at the bans here and I don't see a Genji ban, Tetcher. Could this be double Shimada? Meng's hero still needs to be locked in because Lucky is most certainly going to be on the Hanzo.
I would agree with you there. They don't have an Uther, so it would be just Meng on his lonesome in that way. His Greymane is stolen as well. He's being driven to it at full speed.
Greymane first pick actually by Soa. We should have probably highlighted that as well. It's highly uncommon these days to see teams still opt in so early for the Greymane. Maybe that was a countermeasure to... actually, I think it is because Sori is considered to be a Greymane one-trick at this point. Like, it's been his most successful hero up to this point, especially at the beginning of the phase. Looks like whenever he was forced onto something different, it didn't pan out so well for him, and here we go. A double special, if you will, for the one. We see Hihi on one of his most lethal engaging warriors, the Muradin, and we see Genji being locked in for Meng once again. Now, this is looking mighty scary for Soa if they don't find a good way to keep those heroes at bay.
I would have really liked them to ban out the Genji, just to see what he would have picked, because if I look onto Meng's stats right now, his next most picked heroes, let's just go over quickly his hero priorities here.
Yeah.
Greymane, 41 games. Genji, 20 games. His next highest is Valor with 8. He just doesn't play other heroes. Whatever he would have picked if Genji had been banned would have been new.
Yeah, very true indeed.
Rare.
Rippity rip. Looks like we have an immediate stream restart.
Stream did. Yep.
Okay.
I am moving. I am on the move. Diva!
Oh, fantastic! Are you kidding me? That is wonderful.
I'm not kidding you.
That is wonderful. Diva, I mean, Soa has played it in the past to... I don't remember if they won with it or if they lost with it, but...
find out.
Diva already, that is a formidable tool to shut down some of the damage, especially by Malthael, you know? Diva, one of the few heroes... Actually, I think it's the only hero who can still shut down percentage damage, or did they remove that? Because I know when she was released, she could actually lower the damage of percentage damage, like Tychus' minigun, for example. It happened to me multiple times. I'm not sure if it's still in the game. We're going to keep a close look at it. If the defense matrix goes down on Malthael's Tormented Souls, for example, if the poison damage is then going to tick for lower. We're going to find out.
They played it last season when Molly was still on the team. Twice. Yeah. 1 win, 1 loss.
All right. Tetcher, what are you sitting at?
758.
758? Pretty sure I can get to that.
Just 76. Just 77. 75 to 77.
75 to 77. Let's see if we can get a 7 in there before we move on to game number 2 here. Looks like I can't do it. I'm stuck at 5. Super low.
All right, in that case, you introduce, and I will try and get to you.
All right. Of course, we lost the 1, but you know them by now. Hugo, Meng, and all the jazz. Here we see Soa trying to catch up here and make it a 1-1 with Faye on Diva, Uncle G on Malfurion. We see TY playing the Junkrat, Klong is on ETC, and Sori is back on one of his comfort picks on the Greymane. Now, Diva, A very interesting hero. He used to be part of the competitive meta for quite some time, but she fell off tremendously because, quite frankly, other warriors just got buffed. Other melee bruisers got buffed multiple times. That doesn't mean that D.Va is a bad pick necessarily. She's always good to create some distraction, some commotion.
So what did you say you're on?
5.5 roughly.
Okay. I can't get below 6. Or below 6.5, basically.
Yeah. So why don't you just take over, and I'm trying to bring the stream back in good shape.
579. 579. 55.
5.8. Fantastic. Divine intervention, fixing our synchrony problems.
Hurrah! Excellent! We are off. 5-9-ish is close enough. As we see the immediate pressure coming in. Valkyrie Boost versus Stukov Silence to prevent the early game push. And so our falls back. Here comes Genji looking for the potential counter-attack here to pick up a kill from that early tower damage. Uncle G dropped low and taken out. First blood going over.
That is exactly how you go for a dive. You let Hugo absorb some of the damage because of his superior self-sustain. Malthael is really hard to take down. Then Meng comes in with a sexy flank from the side, and he's going to take down one after the other. Speaking of Meng, though, he ends up getting popped as well. Fei's D.Va damage should never be underestimated, especially when D.Va is in her human form. Her guns will actually deal a significant amount of single target DPS, and as such, Genji was caught a little bit too deep, and a really good retaliation blow by Soa.
I'm going to refresh because I lagged.
Okay, in the meantime, we can actually take a look at the talent that D.Va was taking at level 1. She went for Rush Down, which basically means she's going to have her cooldown lowered, the cooldown, of course, of the boosters, if she doesn't take damage for quite some time. So that allows her to rotate a little faster around the map, because remember, D.Va can't use a mount.
Very interesting. It likely means we won't be seeing the extra knockback at the later levels, due to the fact that it would lose a lot of value that it would have got from the Nitros or even the Crash Course. So, cool to see here. This Meg being forced to dance away from Fei. Once again, Fei going to be very much like a Tracer in terms of making heavy use of that hold fire command to make sure that you don't get too many deflects shot against you when you attack Genji.
In the meantime, Soa's trying to get rid of those blue mercenaries that are knocking at the top forward's door. Junker was doing a great job getting back that shrine under control. He actually overstaying his welcome, taking a huge amount of damage, but Meng is here right now. Genji going in, still has the flex. When is he going to use it? Power Slide goes down, no more interrupts available. And D.Va holding the middle clean for now. No early Dragon Knights up to this point.
I think I'm ahead of you now. I'm not entirely sure when or how that happened. Hugo.
I'm sitting at 7.6.
That's not actually that bad.
You want to leave it?
Should we leave it or should I refresh? Fei has popped out.
I'm going to leave it.
Okay, let's leave it.
Cool.
Alright, so diverting power coming in for the D.Va here. The extra area of that damage reduction. Very effective against heroes like Hanzo, especially as Uncle G dropped low again. This time, the power side is able to keep Uncle G alive.
Yeah, they're basically just trying to make sure that as many of those high DPS heroes for the one are being in the defense matrix, right? Hanzo, as you said, could even be targeted with the increased range. But most importantly, I think they want to drop it on Genji and Malthael when they use their respective level 10s. Maybe the Dragon Blade, maybe the Tormented Souls. Lucky in trouble. There's a wall nearby, and he gets to safety. So
we're probably going to see this combined with, I would guess, the Danger Zone, because coming through doesn't really synergize with what D.Va took at level 1. Sorry, decided to not support there because of the Genji pressure. But yeah, I think this will probably end up being the Danger Zone, maybe Aggression Matrix, very unlikely to be nuclear option.
Exactly. Basically going for that massive AoE slow is both going to cripple their advance, and also making sure that targets actually stick in the defense matrix more frequently and longer in the first place. So this could very well be the level 7 choice. Of course, 7 is now getting actually quite close for both teams. Actually, look at Fei. He's causing all sorts of distractions in the middle, trying to take down yet another tower. The retreat path for Lucky has been shut down with that concussion mine. TY needs to be needs to be careful though. There's another mine, and they get the kill against the other Overwatch hero. TY reigning supreme. What a guy.
That was just outplayed. That was just really nicely done there by TY. As we see Hugo coming in, putting the pressure onto Uncle G once again. He has just consistently been the target so far, and it is still going to be coming through. I really disagree with this. It doesn't match your level 1 talent. If you're going to do that, just go Crash Course or even hit the Nitros, so you can still rotate good and hit the Nitros.
So basically, they're trying to keep heroes like Malthael away now instead of just slowing them down with the Dazer Zone, as Tetra hinted towards earlier. So yeah, this could work, of course, but I agree with you. In terms of raw synergy, this talent seems to be the inferior one up to this point.
We're not seeing Touch of Death coming in from Malthael, by the way. He is sticking with the full solo lane build, despite the fact his lane has not been solo lane for a very long time now.
I think Hugo is starting to respect the D.Va damage reduction a little bit more now, and he could, in fact, go for the last rites, right? Hoping to maybe get a single target kill instead of chunking everyone down at the same time with Torment Assaults.
He pops back into mech mode, keeping himself safe. Already used a self-destruct. This is better than actually giving up the mech. In a lot of cases, yeah, you lose the charge. If you feel confident you're going to get the charge back, it's fine to do, because if your mech explodes via self-destruct, your opponent doesn't get any XP, it's zoned out for the camp. If the opponent kills it, it's still half a hero, I think, worth of XP.
All right, Grayman was actually getting very close to taken out here, so great escape by him. Another cheeky concussion mine, keeping Hanzo at bay and making sure that both shrines stay in control for, or at least one shrine, sorry, stays in control for Soa, so they deny the potential Dragon Knight value. But look at Soa, actually, Tetra. They seem to have recovered and regrouped, reformed themselves here in the second game. They have half a level lead, which is more than they had during the entire game 1. So already this unusual draft in a good way this time seems to be putting some fear into the hearts of the One.
Really is. It's not looking so bad at the moment. The pressure being dropped is good. So far, neither team able to pick up the Dragon Knight route onto Malthael, but it's Malthael. He can teleport, and Hugo is gone.
That's a nice little escape there. I already saw him dead. But if you save your teleport until the very last moment, you, of course, can escape by using enemy heroes who are affected by your trait. So very patient, very nicely done here. Now look at the attempted dodge by Fei. Doesn't manage to dodge it entirely, but gets himself to safety in the first time. Look at ETC, by the way. Klong trying to be a little bit safer. And we see the bunny hop coming in for D.Va. That is going to be amazing against all that clutter, against all that clumping up with the Stukov, the Murden, and the Malthael.
DY!
Oh! Both get away!
Saves him from the Dragon Arrow, and he gets out.
That was a good trade for TY. He managed to survive and bait out the Dragon's Arrow. He didn't get the kill, true, but as long as he stays alive and maybe dominates the bottom lane this time, that will be good. Off to interrupt. Here goes the bunny hop.
Last right, not enough for the kill. Okay, so yes, the percentage damage is reduced. But here comes the Duke and the Riptide for good measure. Double explosion, but the Duke has easily run away. Riptide not so much, but it's not enough for a kill.
You know what? That was good damage because we saw the defense matrix lowering the damage of the last rights very efficiently here, actually. We saw ETC survive for way longer than I thought it was possible. The bunny hop doing a great job as well. And although the monster was cancelled, Soa still reigns supreme because guess what, Tetcher? Twilight Dream is a good heroic ability.
It is very good, and also the fact that D.Va was reducing the damage that the last right was doing, actually. So super clutch move here. We worked out that we don't believe last right actually does percentage damage. It just does damage equal to a percentage. So being able to reduce it like that, really clutch move here. As Faye is this time popped out of his mech, turning it round though. One easy pick up on Genji.
Klong coming in like a wrecking ball. He really wanted to make sure that this kill was theirs, but here comes an arrow and a storm ball to the face. He, with a cheeky giggle, is going to take D.Va's life once and for all.
Good kill. Downtown Dragon Arrow into Storm Bolt. I love that. Easy kill. And now the double channel comes in for the one.
Yeah, and what looked good for Soa for so long. Look at he's so patient. He's not dropping the Storm Bolt until he's entirely sure. Oh my goodness, careful.
Get it.
Grenade. Oh, oh.
That was close. That was very close, and that is the danger of fighting a Junkrat. But the channel is gained, and as such, the Dragon Knight is neutral.
Yep, Dragon Knight is so close. It's a constant back and forth between those two teams. They're not willing to give each other even an inch, and although there was so much action going on, and although the one picked up a little bit of momentum by killing one hero for Soa after the other, Soa just is so tenacious when it comes to maintaining shrine control in the top lane.
D.Va emergency shielding coming in here, not going with the expensive plating. This likely means that we're not going to see GG well played either. We're likely going to end up with the level 60 talent, the Torpedo Dash, giving D.Va that extra survivability outside of the mech mode with that extra mobility.
And D.Va trying to get to safety here. She doesn't want to lose the mecha just like that. By the same token, Hehe taking a lot of damage. Simple geometry is now completed for Hanzo. That means he's going to have more scattering arrows available, which is already starting to do quite a lot of work here in the bottom choke point. Meantime, Malthael wasn't even participating in that team fight. He was still chilling at the top lane because of on a Pale Horse. He's, of course, rotating faster than most other heroes. Session Mine is sitting there.
Having power slide through, here comes the mech. Not even close, but it does give them some time. They move on to the point, and they will recapture this before even before Malthael can make it to mid lane with that on a Pale Horse.
Yeah, I think that that explosion was not meant to kill anyone. It was just meant to buy time so they could get control back over one of the shrines, and they wouldn't have to expose themselves for a potential Dragon Knight. Defense Matrix trying to keep Menk at bay. Here comes the Reptire.
With the buddy hop for the slow. It's not enough for a kill. Faye pops out of the mech, tries to get into a better position, focusing onto Genji. Easily picks up the kill. And the Blaze went almost put him out, but Scatter Arrow gets the kill. That is a 3-for-1 in favor of the one.
Yeah, huge team fights here, but a couple of heroic abilities were whiffed here, unfortunately, by Soa. First and foremost, the mosh pit only caught one, I believe. And that person wasn't even involved in the team fight, so no saving potential here. Sorry, by the way, trying to delay this just a little bit longer. Does a stutter step to the side and buys a couple more seconds and gets out alive. Flashy move, but yeah, a little bit of a difficulty there for Soa also was the bunny hop. Actually, take a look at the bunny hop. Pei was so low in the mecha that he was focused down so extremely quickly. Look at that, the value not really being there. Genji also survives with just a sliver of health. Nice ice block here, but look at that mosh pit. One-man mosh against the Malthael. That didn't do anything.
Yeah, and at that point, Hugo was already just killing off HGC as it was. Yeah, a little bit of a split fight there. Not able to get the maximum value at all as the Dragon Knight puts pressure onto this mid forward. Very outnumbered. TY barely survives this duel. TY has been having so many 1v1s this game that he's... I don't know.
Looks like a round of Overwatch to me, like Hanzo and Genji constantly trying to go for Junkrat, not leaving him be for even just a second in that bottom lane. Now he's in the meantime brawling against 3 enemy heroes. Klong trying to body block, trying to keep him at bay. The Dragon's arrow is huge, and here comes the Shibata Manas.
Lovely kill on the Greymane, but the Riptire counter kill onto that Muradin. In comes D.Va with the body hop, the defensive shield, and keeping her alive for the moment, but Genji gets the kill.
Oh, that was just cleanly done by TheOne, using that burst damage against D.Va, who was going in a little too deep, and to make the mecha explode and make D.Va explode just like that as well. Genji in the meantime using his shuriken to do a little bit of extra damage onto the middle fort, but gets caught in the meantime.
The silence being dropped, preventing anyone else chasing in. As such, Genji able to escape for the moment. More scatter arrows easily coming in, and down goes bottom fort. Only top fort remaining in terms for Soa as they move up to defend it as best they can. All their keeps, though, still alive and pretty healthy. There is that torpedo dash we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, torpedo dash is here now. Allows D.Va to maintain a little bit more safety while in pilot form. Allows her to have a pretty long distance dash to get away from heroes like Genji, from Muradin. Remains to be seen whether Faye is now going to be a little more elusive and hard to kill. For now, there, as you said, there's still a lot of structures left standing for TY, using that concussion mine to get to safety just before he was about to get stunned.
Yeah, got stunned mid-air, but the fact is he's already flying, and as such he's able to make it back to the rest of his team, or at least to his base. So, more move-in by Soa, looking for some counter push. They're still looking better in this game than they were in the last one, but they are still behind. Yeah. D.Va.
They're looking better by a large margin, actually. They're now trying... Yeah, they're now trying to trade forwards. Of course, bottom lane, always a little bit more value because it allows you to rotate and move a little more freely. There's more space available than in top lane. But now they should actually try to go for an all-in fight, in my opinion, if they don't want to face the Storm Talons, because they're still so far away for them. 17, 3 levels ahead, 3 levels behind, sorry. And TheOne can just play this out super slowly now if they wanted to. They just kite their opponents around the map. They can always dance from one shrine to the other until they're 20, and then they're going to look for a fight with a big advantage at their side.
Junkrat reveals himself in the top lane to help clear up this Bruiser camp. This does mean that the immediate rotation to the bot lane begins from many members of the One, as Soa looking to kill off 2 members, or at least just the Genji, but unable to land that power slide. This is allowing the very quick rotation from the One into that bottom lane. This will get them the double channel before Faye can get to the top lane, which now means it is up to, as ETC, just ETC by the looks of it, to stop Genji.
He's going to try to stall.
Murid is going to try and hold the point. Can they do it? No, it's already due.
Nice one. Nice bounce on the Muradin, basically causing him to be pushed away from the capture platform. And that, of course, prevents any Dragon Knight shenanigans. But Catcher, level 20 is here. The One. They're going to be very mad and furious and angry about that D.Va play. Here goes the 3-man arrow. Genji going in as a follow-up.
The Brute Silence is so good. ETC has deleted the mech, only just makes the self-destruct, but the flailing swipe completely disengages from it. D.Va rolling forward, though, to try and get herself out. The mech will not get the emergency shielding. It was already down. There's the cap by Malthael, and the Dragon Knight will be picked up by the One.
The fury of the One unleashed with a 3-man homing missile here. That Dragon's Arrow was connecting to the backline like an absolute champion. Look at that. Genji going in, landing a 2-man Swift Strike there. The Dragon Blade completely uncontested. The team was split, and now pay special attention to the flaming swipe. Not only knocking back the Riptire, but also knocking back the mecha that was about to self-destroy here for Faye. Wonderful and spectacular plays on every single member for the One, and they are now trying to take that core.
Yeah, that flailing swipe by ZJZ absolutely just put them in a beautiful position. Dragon Knight with almost full health. D.Va coming in for any kind of delay tactics, but the core is going down, Kendrick. That's going to be GG, and the One are going to take a convincing 2-0.
Yeah, they looked super strong in that game. From start to finish, they had this game under control. Although Soa was able to put up a much better fight this time around. Although I think the D.Va proved to be quite useful in many cases. It was just too much for them to handle. The One underline, once again, why they're considered to be one of the top Chinese teams at the moment. And they are already putting up a little bit of pressure on SBT because they themselves cannot afford to lose their game against CE later.
Yeah, that is